Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and today I will be ranking the entire Foo Fighters discography. We have 10 studio albums, so I won't be including any live EPs. I'm not including Saint Cecilia, but I will just be doing the 10 major studio albums, which will be including the new one, Medicine at Midnight, that was just released. So before I start, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Definitely helps out my channel. I upload pretty much every day. I do rankings, album reviews, and much more. And please check the video description on ways to support this channel. I will be leaving my Amazon affiliate link. So if you would like to support this channel and make any purchases. Okay, for this ranking, let me just first start by saying that I don't think the Foo Fighters have any weak albums. I basically like them all. Like, I can pretty much listen to any of them like front to back, but they're all good albums. So the one I put at the end is not something that I hate or I don't think the album sucks. Just something that I felt was the weakest or an album that I'm like least likely to listen to all the way through. So with that being said, let me get into it. Coming in at number 10 is In Your Honor. This one came out in 2005, so this is a double album. Now the first side was all like hard rock or they're like heavy grunge songs, and the second side was more of an acoustic album. Now the problem I have with this is that it feels like very long to listen to it like front to back. The album works well if you're like someone who collects CDs or vinyl, because you can kind of treat it as two separate albums, the way it kind of should have been. Where if you're in the mood for something heavy, you go for the first side, or if you're in the mood for something more relaxing, singer-songwriter type, you go for the second side. So I think you can do it that way. It probably should have been like two albums, kind of like the way like Guns N' Roses released Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. But there are a lot of good tracks. The first the first side is very strong. It has like In Your Honor, Best of You, DOA. These are all really good songs, fairly heavy songs. It has that like signature grunge sound. Coming in at number 9 is Sonic Highways. So this is their 8th studio album from 2014. Now this was based on a TV show. I've never really seen it. On the album, the band traveled to different cities to record one song in each city, and each song features contributions from musicians that have like ties to that particular city. So for example, the first track, Something From Nothing, that's a really good song. It has like an acoustic intro, and it has this riff. It reminds me a lot of like an unplugged version of Dio's like Holy Diver riff. I thought that's pretty cool. It's a good album overall. The songs are probably not as memorable as the others, but it's an album that, if I put it on, I'll listen to it all the way through. It's a good album. Coming in at number 8 is Concrete and Gold. So this is their 9th studio album, came out in 2017. So the main tracks are Run and Sky is the Neighborhood. Run is a fun track, so it has a verse section that almost sounds like death metal vocals, but it's kind of crafted as a pop song. It's like very unique. The band was going for this sound where it's like a mixture of like this heavy and light, kind of like seeing if they can like blend it. So they call the album like Motorhead's version of Sgt. Pepper, or Slayer making pet sounds. So it's like that kind of like heaviness and like pop sensibility, kind of like mixed in one. And I think it's kind of hit and miss. I liked it a lot better than other people. I think other rankings usually rank this at the bottom, but I like it. It's very unique sound. Good album, not great, but still a fun listen. Coming in at number 7 is Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace. So this is their 6th studio album, came out in 2007. Now this is a mix of hard rock songs and acoustic tracks. A lot more concise than its predecessor, In Your Honor. So it's kind of like In Your Honor, but more like compact. This has one of the best songs, The Pretender. It has Long Road to Ruin. The Ballad of Beaconsfield Miners, that's pretty cool. It's an instrumental. It reminds me of like something from like Led Zeppelin 3 or that type of thing. But this is a great album, front to back. Coming in at number 6 is One by One. This one came out in 2002. Their 4th album, And this is one that a lot of other people might rank lower. You know, this is one I like a lot. It has All My Life, Times Like These. Those are the big hits. But I think it's more of like a fairly, like a heavier album and more leaning towards a grunge sound. And has some like influences from like alternative metal and maybe like a little bit of like new metal. Tired of You is a really good song. It's like atmospheric, pretty cool song. They have a music video for the track Low. That's Jack Black. That's pretty cool. You should check that out on YouTube. And that's a pretty cool, heavy, like grungy song. So I really like this album, so that's why I have it at number 6. And at number 5, I have the new release, Medicine at Midnight. So the 10th album just came out, 2020. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I have a full review, which I will be linking at the end of this video. So when you get through this entire ranking, please go to my Foo Fighters ranking so I can talk more about this. But, you know, after listening to it a couple more times, I will say that my favorite tracks are Cloud Spotter, Holding Poison, and the ballad Chasing Birds. Coming in number 4 is Foo Fighters, their debut album. This one came out in 1995. Now this one I have another video which I will link at the end of my video talking about how like In Utero and the Foo Fighters debut album came out, and I did like a versus video, but I talk about like the transition and how this album came about. So I won't spend too much time on it as well, but it has some great songs. This Is a Call, I'll Stick Around, Big Me, those are big hits. And they have like For All Cows. That was pretty cool, like a jazzy, like acoustic song. It does get a little heavier too. And this is like the band, they're kind of like looking for their sound. It's kind of more of like a Dave Grohl solo album because the band really didn't exist at the time. But I explain that in my other video, so you can watch that at the end. At number 3, I have The Color and the Shape. This one came out in 1997, so this is their second album. Now, on this one, I think the band has really like found their sound, and they're starting to move away from that like Nirvana sound. It's still a fairly heavy album, you know, it has that grunge sound, but you know, the songs are crafted into more like rock and pop. The lyrics are a little dark. Dave Grohl was going through a divorce at the time, but it does have a single, Monkey Wrench. That has a pretty cool heavy riff, and has Everlong, My Hero, Walking After You. So this is definitely a solid album. Probably some people might even like put this as their favorite or number 1, but I have 2 others that I liked a lot better. So at number 2 is There's Nothing Left to Lose. This one came out in 1999, so this is their 3rd album. I really feel they kind of like found their sound, they perfected it. This is also the first album with Taylor Hawkins, and they begin to get like a little more like experimental with their sound. So the big hit was Learn to Fly, but this also includes Stacked Actors. This is probably one of their like heaviest songs and more reminiscent of like that early like late 80s grunge sound. Generator is a really good track. It uses the talk box like the one like Peter Frampton used, and definitely an awesome album and good listen front to back. And coming in at number 1 is Wasting Light. So this is their 7th studio album in 2011. This is basically a masterpiece. They recorded it in their garage, and they only used analog equipment. So the band really had to practice the songs for like 3 weeks, because when you're using analog equipment, it's kind of like hard to fix mistakes the way you can digitally. It has Bob Mould from Husker Du. He's on Dear Rosemary. Chris Novoselic does make an appearance on this. Has 2 big singles called Rope and Walk. And this is definitely an album, you want to listen to it like front to back. There's a really interesting story about how this album was made. There's a Netflix documentary, so you might want to look for that. Number 1, this is an awesome album. So, okay, thanks for watching. Comment below. Well, let me know, what do you think? Give me your Foo Fighters ranking in the comment section, or tell me a couple of your favorites. And let's get a conversation going. So, thanks for watching. As always, I usually link a couple other videos at the end of my video. So if you want to see my full review of Medicine at Midnight, that's going to be right there. And if you want to see another versus video I did with the Foo Fighters, that's going to be over there, so you can check those out. And Like I said, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.